afternoon to you all, our viewers. Thank you so much for always keeping it at Civic Space TV Women Rise. I'm called Madrin, your host, and I hope you had a very wonderful Christmas. And as we look to welcoming the new year 2025, I hope we have already set our goals, what we want to see in the new year, what we want to achieve in the new year. And we believe that with the hard work and staying focused, commitment, I know we shall achieve all that we desire to achieve. Thank you so much. And today I have Dr. Kayondo Jane Frances. Yes, she is a retired world-class medical researcher. She is a soft skills enthusiast. She is a wife, mother, grandmother. She is an author. She has written two books that I know of. Number one is The Hero Within, and then the new one is Fundamental Soft Skills. And she is the CEO of Rounding Up Ages International. You are very much welcome, Dr. Jane.
Thank you, Madrin, for having me. It's my pleasure.
Yes, thank you so much for coming through. This is a platform for women.
Yes.
And every Saturday afternoon we get to, to have a new story.
Yes.
And we are learning from these stories. We are really looking forward to, learning more from your story.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So to our viewers, who is Dr. Jane?
Yeah. So I'm very delighted to be here, particularly on the last Saturday of the year.
Yes.
Because in a few days we start the new
year.
year. So I'm the lucky one who is concluding 2024, which is a special treat for me. So my name is Jane Kenjeya Kayondo. Kenjeya is my original name. And Kayondo is my husband's.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So adding them together, sometimes they become a mouthful. Yes, but that's why I have those two names. As you can see, of course, I'm a woman and not so young, but aging gracefully. I'm very proud about that.
Yes.
I studied medicine, so I became a doctor way back, because before some of you even planned. So I finished medical school in 1978.
Oh.
So I joined in 1973 at Makerere University.
Yes.
Those days it was the only
university
for medical training. So we used to have students from other African countries. So our class was, Pan-African. We had, so those were different days than now. I didn't quite practice medicine. I went straight into health research. Yes. So I grew up in health research. That's where I had my career of over 40 years.
Wow.
In health research.
Wow.
And as we will talk more,
yes.
It was a very, very rich career experience. I'm married to Moses Kayondo, who is a Murangira of Uganda. So I am a Muzana. Yes, and for now 42 years in the marriage.
Wow.
Yes. So we have adult children, over 42 of them, and 2 of them in their 30s.
Wow.
Yes. They are all established and doing their own things. I have 3 grandchildren. 2 of them starting to be teenagers, and then a little boy of nearly 3 years. I live in a community. I do some community work, but I think what identifies me mostly recently is my moving into soft skills. I started a company, that's my retirement project. I started a company called Rounding Up the Ages International, we specialize in training soft skills. So soft skills are your interpersonal skills. So how you communicate, how you relate, how you negotiate, and then your self-discipline skills, how you manage your time, how you manage your life, how you manage your emotions. And then you have all these other skills which make you a productive person, teamwork, leadership. So we have a special outfit which has all those skills, and we teach them in secondary schools, in universities, in businesses and companies, and then also individual professionals. So I'm a jack of all trades, yes. And most people just call me Dr. Jane. They
Dr.
don't
Jane.
go with all those other other names.
Okay.
Yes.
And before doctor, we go into what you're doing now. How was your childhood like? Your background.
Yes.
Take us
So I
through.
was actually fortunate to be born as a grandchild because my dad was already quite old. My mom was young. So I had that strength of having a young mother. You know that type of couple where the man is mosaic already and the wife is young and the baby is born. So to the dad, you're a grandchild because he already had grandchildren older than me. But to the mom, you are a firstborn. So I had that combination of a loving, soft mother, but also you know how firstborns we treat them tough love. So I had that mix, which was good. The second good thing, I think, although we were in the village, and by now when I look back, I could describe us as poor, but we were not poor. You know, at that stage you don't know. Because you are not comparing. All this poverty thing comes once you start to compare. But we were a happy family. We had an iron sheet house. We had 3 bedrooms and we all fitted. The lot of us, it doesn't matter the number.
Actually, you are not poor.
No, we had food, we had cows, we had milk. And my dad was the catechist, the Catholic catechist for many years. And he was also a teacher. He started a school. So we were in the school environment. So we really had a rich growing up. But also it gave us a solid Christian foundation. They used to say that in our home we breastfeed religion. So I have that background also of being a good. I try my best to be a good Christian. But then where I grew up, the school, though my dad had started it, eventually it became like a government school. But the education for girls always ended at P4. That's how where the school for girls stopped. The school for boys could go up to P6, so they could sit the P6 exam and then move on to further education. But then for the girls, P4.
Why was it like that?
That's what the structure was. Yes. So for me, actually, to be able to be here, to become a doctor, I had to jump that hurdle. Because nobody else in the village did. You finished at P4, that was the end of the school. There was no more possibility. But fortunately, my dad being so connected in the church, he managed to go to the bishop and get a letter to allow me to study in the boys' school. So I was the only girl who ever went into that in the village. Otherwise, of course, a few girls would have to go. But you know, to go to primary at that time, to go to boarding school was rare. So that's what saved me also. That somehow my dad got that special permission for me to study with the boys. Then I was able to finish P6, and then after that, the doors opened.
So after P6?
After P6, I went to a junior school. Those days there was junior school. There used to be junior 1 and junior 2. It was the bridge between primary school and secondary
And
school.
secondary.
So you could go to the junior school. So I went to boarding junior school. I come from Bushenyi side.
Ah.
Yes, it's a village called Nyawina. It's deep, deep. Before you go to those big mountains, it's a village over there. So I went to Catholic nuns run junior school. So junior 1 and junior 2. But as we were doing that junior school, that's when the government decided to abolish junior school.
Oh.
And now start P7, which most people know. So we were the last cohort to do junior school. So all of us, whether you were in junior 1 or junior 2, we sat the exam at the same time because they were abolished the level.
The level.
So I was one of those. And then I went to Maryhill High School for my secondary school. And I was very lucky. I got a government scholarship. The local government would give some scholarships. But I also got a special scholarship from the Mehta family, this rich Indian Mehta family. They used to give special scholarships for disadvantaged but very promising kids. And I think they used to give like 3 or 4 in the country. And I won one of those.
Oh.
It was a full scholarship.
Oh.
It would give you everything.
Wow.
So that really relieved my parents because we were several who
Others.
were in school at that same time. And it also, you know, it was like I didn't have to worry about fees or books or uniform.
Everything was catered for.
Yes.
Wow.
Everything was catered for. So I finished at Maryhill. I'm an OG of Maryhill, a very proud one. And I'm also an OG of Namagunga.
Oh.
Yes. So after that, I went to Namagunga for A level. And then that's how I ended from there to go to university.
Makerere.
Yes. So we were quite a big family. We were 13 of us growing up. So it was busy, you know. But we also had to work very hard to garden, to do chores, to look after this, to cook. So we were really hands-on at home. And I think for young people growing up, and it's easy to think that, you know, because we have house girls and we have house boys, and because I am in school, my nails are painted, you really need that foundation of learning how to manage a home. And I know there are many now who can't manage a home because they don't learn these skills from the beginning. So I was fortunate they just came naturally. You were never given a choice whether to go to dig or not to dig.
You have to do it.
You have to do it. And we didn't think badly about it. We didn't think it was abuse of any, like some people now think if the parent asks you to go to do something,
to do any kind of
work,
it's
not
a
right.
punishment.
Yes. But if you see it as part of growing up, as part of maturity, as part of setting your future, being prepared to take care of yourself, it's a good thing.
Now, doctor, that you mentioned of that, I'm wondering where is the problem? This generation and then back then, you know, us looking at parents, you know, telling you to do something as a punishment, and then before it was something different.
I think what has happened right now is the ownership of the role. Because back then, the role belonged to you. Yes, you knew, you know. So, but now they think the ownership of this role is to somebody else. So they may think it's the mom. It's mom's job to make sure that food is cooked, that plates are washed. And you find so many who think it's the mom's role. Others will think that maybe it's the houseboy or the house girl. Others, it's the auntie who lives with us, you know. We have removed this responsibility of these roles and handed it over to workers, to certain people. So when it's not your role and you are made to do it, you always feel that I shouldn't be doing this because it's not my role. I think we need to go back to the time when taking care of home is owned by the home, by the people in the home. so that people can feel that it's my role to keep the home clean. It's my role to participate in the cooking of the food. It's my role to make sure that if we have land around us, things are growing on it. We used to see it as our role. But I think that role shifting is what is causing problem. We need to retake the role back and put it back in the family. And everybody is playing their role in that family role. But it has now been misplaced, and then of course people see it as punishment. Or they even want you to pay them. Children will ask their parents, you give me money if I wash the dishes.
True.
Yeah, because they don't see it as their role.
And the results, what are the results of this?
And I think the results is with the family conflicts around chores, you have no clue, you know. Permanent fights. Wash the dishes, or washing them, repeat them, you know. So it creates that tension, but also it denies young people from learning those chores and seeing them as it's okay to wash dishes. But you know, so those tensions and I think we might grow up with a lot of people who are incapable of home management.
True.
Yes, because if you don't learn it from home,
Yes.
unless you go to hotelier school, how will you learn how to cook? How will you learn how to care for the home? How will you care for your own home? Yes. So I think the consequences are many.
Yeah, true.
The consequences are many. Yeah.
Wow, there is a lot we need to change the
Yeah.
way we parent.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And doctor, so tell us more about, you know, this career as a medical doctor. You said you didn't practice it that much. You
So
went
maybe let
into
me tell you a
research.
little bit how it started.
Yes.
So after my junior school, when we sat all of us, P7 and P8, the nuns asked me to stay back with them. I think it's because Dad hadn't finished paying the fees.
Oh.
Or they never told me why. But so you can see that if it was these days when they refuse you to sit exams because you haven't finished food, my school would have ended there. But I think they allowed me to sit
exams,
the exams, but then held me back so that I could kind of pay back by working.
In
Yes.
holidays. Okay.
Yes, yeah. So I stayed back and moved to the convent. These were Canadian nuns. Just living with Wazungu. Next, they gave me a small room in the corner somewhere, you know. And then they had this big library of books. I had never seen so many books in my life. Because you have never owned a textbook those days. So I used to stare at them, touch them. Eventually they said, you know, you can read.
Oh.
That's where my reading culture came from.
Ah.
Yeah. That's where I think also my writing culture
Yes.
came from, because I touched and lived with books when I was so young. But the most significant thing is they had a dispensary. So they would see outpatients. People would come, bring children, mostly children, but also adults. So they gave me a job to sit at the front desk. All I had to do was take the name, the age, and where they have come from. And then let them go to see the nurse, and then
go
eat.
after.
But then one of the nurses was a white nurse. The other one was Munyankore and could speak Lunyankore. But the ones who would go to the white nurse, I don't think they would even hear the accent of what she was. She was trying to speak Lunyankore, but so from there they would come back to the desk and say Mushahu, because
so they would so they would go down to
yes.
Okay. Oh.
Explain to me.
Yes.
I didn't understand. I was only 13, 14, but still. So I had my own musha already.
Yes, I see where it comes from now.
Yes.
Okay.
So I eventually, little by little, I learned how to explain to them that 1 + 2 means you take medicine in the morning, you take medicine in the evening, you take and they would really, oh, thank you, Musha, oh, thank you. So from that time, I never considered another career. Wow. And even when people would tell me, you're going to be a nurse, I would get so mad. No, a doctor. A doctor. I had never been treated by a doctor. I had never seen a doctor. I didn't know any doctor. But from that experience, I wanted to be a doctor.
You wanted to be one.
Yeah. So I never, it wasn't like I considered this and this and this and then chose. I think very early on, the profession chose me.
Yes.
Yes. The profession
Chose
chose
you
me.
before you even knew.
Before I even knew, yes.
Yes, okay.
So that's how I ended up. No, I never considered anything. So then we reached medical school. We were 100, I think, and 10, and only 11 of us were women.
Oh.
So for every 10 students, one would be a woman.
Oh.
So you felt like the minority, and now it's more balanced.
Yes.
And then, of course, even our teachers, very few were women. The majority were men. So it was that competition with men, but I think it sharpens you like iron. It gives you that competitive spirit to feel that if a man can do it,
I can also do
I
it.
can also do it.
Yes.
And of course, sometimes they would be looking at us to see us chicken away or fail. Then you really have to, force yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think for the listeners, even if you feel like, okay, this is something that maybe as a woman, it's not my space. There's no space which is exclusively for men.
Yes.
We can get into these spaces and we can
better,
excel
yes.
in these spaces. Even back then, nearly 50 years ago, we could still get into those spaces and we could excel in those spaces. So, and it may be a struggle, of course, but what comes easy?
Nothing.
Yes. So I was there, toughing it out, and I did really, really well. But I think where the bottleneck came was that now you see me, I'm a big girl. But back then I was like a size 8 maybe. I don't know if you get the same trouble, but when you're small. So now the patient expects a man. If they are going to get a woman, let it be a big, tall man like.
And then you're coming in.
Like a P3, they used to refuse me.
Oh.
So the patients would say, no, Kawara, no, don't touch me.
Oh.
Or they would look at me with this very suspicious. And then they would gladly take a nurse who is, So I realized that, of course I would put on the biggest shoes and, try to be so tall. But nothing.
Trying to fit it.
Yes, but my size became a problem. And again, this is because of stereotyping. Sometimes you think, oh, somebody is so small, they can't
do
this. Or somebody is this color, they can't do this. Or somebody speaks this way, they can't do this, So for those who are listening, no, it's not about size. It's not about color. It's not about your stature. It's not about your eyes or what. It's about what you are capable of doing. They were not judging me for what I'm capable of doing. They were judging me for stature. And I couldn't change the stature. So once I got introduced to public health, which is, I got a realization that most of the diseases we get can be prevented way back. That I didn't have in my conscious. Then I realized, there's another branch of medicine, and which might even be better, because it means you can prevent the diseases before they came.
Yes.
So in fact, I got so very interested in public health, and that's how I ended up in that line of not working as a clinician, but going straight into research. So soon after my internship, I never went into a hospital. I went into Uganda Virus Research Institute. I don't know if you know it. It's a big institute in Entebbe. It has a big program called the British Medical Research Council Program, MRC program. I'm the one who started it way back in the 80s. Yes. So once I went that way, it's a different competition. It's a different way of work. You are researching, you are writing papers, you are presenting in conferences, you are thinking, how can my research influence policy? How can it influence practice? How can my research lead to prevention? How can we control diseases? And that was at the beginning of the AIDS epidemic. We were really big. We were celebrities over nature because we were working in a very needed space.
Yes, yeah.
So that's how I grew up in that space. But along the way, and very quickly as well, I specialized. So I specialized in, first of all, public health, which I had really fallen in love with. And then I moved on to specialize in epidemiology. Epidemiology is the study of how diseases spread, what factors increase the speed or reduce the speed of spread, and what you can do to control them. It comes from the word epidemics. I don't know which one comes from which, but epidemiology,
Yes.
that's my specialty. And then at some point I used to have a side hustle of taking care of pilots and their families because I lived in Entebbe. Yes. So I also specialized in aviation medicine. Yes.
Wow.
So I you know. So my career for earlier in life, I worked in Uganda. But then later on, I moved to work with the World Health Organization. And I lived and worked in Geneva, from Geneva for 15 or so years.
Wow.
Yes, yes. And that was really amazing. Holding different positions up to as senior as I could get.
Wow.
So my family grew up, the children grew up in Europe, in Geneva, and studied in international school. And in fact, the three of them live abroad. Only one of them lives here with us. So maybe I think for the listeners, particularly the women listening, again, sometimes you see these big positions in international spaces and you feel that's not for me. Or you look at people who work in these spaces and you say, oh God, as if they are made of special materials. No, these are spaces that any of you can go to. Yeah, it's a question of choosing the right entry point. Also building your career towards international space so that you are getting your education done, you're making sure that at the same time you are acquiring the leadership skills you need, the management skills you need, the communication skills you need, the self-control, and don't be scared of the challenge. If you see an advert, even though you feel maybe it's not for me, give it a go. The people who end up working in these UN spaces or international spaces, diplomatic spaces, they are not any special, any different. They are like me, I'm
like
the example
else,
here.
yes.
From wherever the story which I have told you, to end up, in a high position with a UN agency, it's possible. I want to tell you it's possible. It's possible. But you just have to dream big, to see that the path is wider than what you see, and to see that the possibilities are there. And of course to ask those who have been there what they did. And I get so many people who come to me. I've helped so many get along in life. But to see that as a possibility. Then of course when the children left home after they were now in universities, and my husband and I thought maybe it's time to go back home. So I got a go home job with the Welcome Trust. The Welcome Trust is a charity foundation, big foundation in the UK. It also funds a lot of health research. So they were looking for a special advisor for Africa. And I got that role, also a very, very senior position. So I returned back home with an international job.
Wow.
And I did that for 5 years, a lot of travel, but a lot of also seeing the world. I retired in October 2018. But in 2013, I already registered my soft skills company. So I knew,
rounding up ages.
I knew I was just changing roles. I wasn't going to sit at home, retired. So as soon as I retired, I started the soft skills, you know. So again, of course, the big message here would be plan, prepare. Because the earlier you prepare for what you will do later in life, the more you will do what you want, but also the more you are settled. When you know where you are going, you are not so scared of retirement. Because me, I knew I already had a company to go to, so I wasn't scared at all of retirement. No,
so, doctor, how has the journey been in the health sector?
So
since that you've worked partly outside Uganda and then the journey in Uganda, how is the journey so far?
So since I came back, the thing is, when you are out there, you lose connection. So now you can imagine all the doctors who graduated after I left, they hear about me, many of them. Some of them now start to meet me since I came back for the first time. Others I don't know. So even sometimes I think, supposing I was to collapse on a street road somewhere, would I be picked up in any special way? Or would I end up on a border and then, you know, taken? Because you lose that connection, it's really, I think it's one of the biggest losses, to lose your networks. You lose friends. People move on 15 years. The ones where you are friends. So if you add the other 20 years, those where you are friends, they move on. You also move on. Your expectations change. And then, of course, 20 years down the road, the health system changes as well. The health system changes as well. So I really wouldn't want to comment so much about this because I don't know it so well. You know, 20 years when you haven't been into the health system. But what has happened in the health research system, which I know well, there has been enormous growth. Yes. At that time, researchers were few and far between. Now there are many people making a career in health research. There are many research institutions. Universities are doing good research. It's now a very vibrant area, different than our times. So that side has really grown. And not only in health, I think research generally in all spheres has grown so much, which is a good thing.
And about you're an author. Yes, tell us about this book, The Hero Within. What is the inspiration behind this book?
So writing, I think, is a skill that a talent I have inherently in me. And somehow I feel, oh, maybe it lay dormant, but now I'm going to really be active. So way back, I told you I learned reading, you know. So I'm a very heavy reader. It's part of my DNA. If you go to my home, you'll find my books. Sometimes I'm reading 5 at the same time. Finishing one and then, you know, just reading. I'm a very good reader. Even rumor had it that at Maryhill I probably read the whole library. There's no evidence to confirm
you
that.
You are always in the library.
I read a lot. And when you read a lot, when you read, your mind is open. You have you live in this world and all the other words you are reading. And I feel so sad that the reading culture has really
down.
It narrows your brain. It narrows your life perspective. You know, like even you have read a novel. For the time you are reading that book, you are part of it. You can quite transport yourself into that world of the novel and live there for as long as you are reading the book, and then remember it as if you lived the life, you know. So I was always having those different lives that I was living because of reading. And then I shifted to reading other people's stories. And the more stories I read, the more I realized that then I reached a stage where now even I feel that what a waste to live a life and you don't write it down and you die and it goes with you.
Yes.
You know,
There's no trace
there's
of
no
it.
trace, you know. So I keep asking people, you don't have to be famous. You don't have to have broken any world record. You don't need to be something special. Just write your story.
Wow.
So that belief made me write my story. Because I think, and unsurprisingly, people tell me, oh my goodness, I learned so much, I read so much. But for me, I feel that it's a wasted life when it's not documented. Because they will remember you for a bit and then forget, you know. So it's for legacy purposes that I wrote the book. It's for my grandchildren, you know. It's all sorts of things. So it tells my story gradually and, you know, up to that time when I wrote it, the things I love, the things that give me difficulties, the experiences I have experienced, the lessons I have learned, the challenges I have faced. So it's a whole big journey. It's a whole big journey.
And the title of the book itself is really...
I struggled actually to get the title, and it was my niece who came up with the title, and I fell in love with it. You know, sometimes when we are looking for heroes, we are looking at other people.
Other people.
Yes.
And you forget yourself.
Yes, within you are a hero.
Yes.
And it may be this hidden heroism, because nobody can live your life.
True.
But each obstacle you overcome, you are a hero. Each challenge you face and, you know, win it, you are a hero. So that's why I said the hero within.
Yes.
The heroism inside me, it is inside you, it is inside her. We are all heroes, but we are heroes within.
Yeah.
The ones who are heroes outside, that's their own life. That's their own life.
Wow,
Yes,
beautiful.
yes,
I think this is a message. Learn to appreciate yourself.
Yeah. See that, you know, you are a hero. Yeah. And celebrate yourself.
True.
Yes.
True.
Yeah.
And as women, you know, women usually forget even to think about yourself because
Cool.
there is a lot
Yes,
behind you, in
and
front
somehow
of
we
you.
are also cultured as carers, as nurturers. So we are always looking to be there for other people. Yes. But you need to learn to be there for yourself, to care for yourself, to care for your mental, what you think. Because there's a lot of thinking in the head also. Just be careful. Make sure that you are thinking good thoughts. You're motivating yourself internally, but also physically. Take care of yourself. Find time to enjoy something that you enjoy. You can't be always there for others and forget about yourself. And now there are ways of doing it. I mean, there are groups you can belong to. Like me now, I joined a group called Business Network International. It's not a woman only, it's men and women only. Business people who want to do good business, who want to help each other excel, who refer each other. If I know you're doing something good, I will be your marketeer. It's helping me so much. So find a group which resonates with you, even if it's in your church. Find a group. If it's in your village, find a group, and just give the time to be with those women and talk about life and learn from them. Find an exercise you enjoy. Me, I enjoy swimming, so I swim quite a bit. But find something that will physically get you moving, so that you are not, you know, and then just dress yourself up nicely, make yourself up. Doesn't matter the age, you can still look beautiful. When you are little, you can still look beautiful when you are older.
And I must say, you look so beautiful.
I try my best.
Yes, one will even want to know, how have you managed, you know, to keep this beautiful? The hair is looking so nice. How have you done it all these years?
My mother. Seriously, she would not allow you to leave like that. She would say, hey, have you checked yourself? You know, little, but did you check? Come here. You know, she would remove these things and roughly though sometimes, you know, but send you on your way. So somehow you and then of course the schools we went to. We were not executive as such or class. But your uniform had to be in order, you know. Yes. You even sitting, they taught us everything from how you sit, how you hold walk. Yourself, how you walk, how you smile, you know. And I think most people remain straight because we were taught to walk a certain way. So it was part of the educational background, which I think is a pity that it's breaking down. Just to teach you how to be a self-contained, hold the tummy in, you know, and you get used to that, you know. So once you grow up in that system, it doesn't come difficult. You always will want to, you know. And of course, then the thing about change, quemusa or like browning yourself, they taught us be content with what you have, you know. You don't need to be browner than you are. You don't need to. So you become authentic. And then it just becomes part of you. It just becomes a part of you. But of course, you also have to be ready to spend some money on yourself. Doctor. It is true, though. True. Nobody's going to do your fingers for nothing. Yes. Nobody's going to do your hair for nothing, you know. So, and that money is worth it. Spend it on yourself. Spend it on yourself. Look beautiful. Look young, you know. Yeah. Wow, we should look young like Dr. Jane. Dr. Jane here looks very young. And then, Doctor, the other book is Fundamental Soft Skills. I think this will lead us to rounding up the edges. Yes. Yeah. So, as I said, and I have a history around this, quickly I can tell you. When I was given that job of starting that big program I told you, the job of AIDS program research, I already had my degree in medicine, I had my diploma in public health, I had my master's in epidemiology. Wow. I was heavy, like my toolkit. But then I discovered that actually my toolkit was empty. I had no leadership skills. I had no management skills. I had no HR skills because now I had to hire people and employ people. I had no speaking skills. I wasn't capable at that time of speaking like now. Confidence, self-esteem, you know, time management. Then I realized, you know, we come out of the education system without these things. Half-baked. Because at that time, it wasn't me who was going to do the actual work. When you are a leader, you are leading the institution. You are hiring people to do the actual work. I had no skills. The skills I had were for doing the work, but only technical. Yes. Don't want to bring it. So that's when I realized, you know, this area is very, very important. Yeah. And then along the journey, I saw that you can actually have a good engineer, and they are sacking that engineer for behavior in the office. In fact, most people who get sacked, you think of people who have lost jobs. It is never because they are technically incompetent. It's just because they are not fitting in the team. They are aggressing everybody. They are not meeting their deadlines. And people who get promoted, it's not because they have added another degree. Yes. It's because they have shown that they can be trusted, they can lead, they can manage, they can be, you know, once you give them something to do, they will get on with it. All those are soft skills. All those are soft skills. In fact, now there's even a big worry that AI is going to replace some of these things. True. But you know, it can't replace your humanity. It can't replace the warmth that you bring into this interview. Of course, it will sit there and it can do the interview. True. Yes, and even me, I could be a robot
yes.
answering.
Yes.
So there could be two robots. But do you see this warmth? Do you see
No.
this love? Do you see this
No.
smile? Do you see this connection with the audience? There's no way they are going to replace it. So soft skills are actually your permanent skills if you learn them well. And they are not discriminative. A teacher needs them. A driver needs them. A mechanic needs them. A houseboy needs them. A cleaner needs them. A president needs them. Parliamentarians need them. Ministers need them. Everyone needs these soft skills. So for me, that's what drove me into writing that book. I know that the story goes that Ugandans or what Africans or whatever don't read. That will not stop me writing.
Yes.
Let me do my part. Let me make the book available. And I tell you, even if 3 people read it, I'll have done
impact. Yes.
And they may not read it, and they may keep it in the shelf, but maybe their child will read it. Maybe their grandchild will read it. So that's the book. It's recent. It's now only available on Amazon, but by the end of maybe February, March, I should be launching and having it in bookshops and selling it around.
And about rounding up the edges.
So this company is unique in several ways. First of all, it's what we would call a social company. We are dealing with making an impact at the same time as making sufficient money to make the impact. I don't have shareholders, so it's not like I'm going to chase money because this shareholder, that shareholder, this shareholder, they put in their money, they need their shares back. It's limited by guarantee. When it's limited by a guarantee, whatever you make, you grow the company. Whatever you make, you grow the company bigger. Yes. And then the way we are focusing on soft skills, it's like a one-stop provider. Because right now, you may have somebody who says, me, I will teach you public speaking. There are many public speaking coaches.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you find someone who tell you, I will teach you leadership. There are so many leadership coaches, you know. And another person will tell you, I will do team building. Another one will say life coach. Another one will say mentor. So I think the field itself is a bit too fragmented. So my goal and vision is to bring things together. It's like an academy, because you don't go to a university and then one lecture you have it in Makerere, another lecture you go to have it in Chambogo, another lecture you go, and then you stop at another place to have. You go and you get a comprehensive learning of that sector. So that's my unique vision. So right now I have over 30 modules, standalone modules. People can learn either a single module or a package of them. Or they can actually say, okay, I need a certain learning. Can you make me a module on it? And we will even do that. We will even do that. So we have this one-stop service concept. And also what I'm looking at is that every country I have been, they need
these skills.
So I'm trying right now to open in Rwanda. Maybe early next year we should be on the ground. I'm already discussing in Kenya, to start in Kenya. But my dream and vision is to have these soft skills academies all over Africa to start with. And then I believe that people should learn when they are young. So I have programs for secondary schools. And with some secondary schools, we are already household name. I have programs for universities. I have programs for workforces. And then independent professionals also come and ask, can I learn this? Can I learn this? I'm building up a training team. The way I want to approach it is to do like a trainer of trainers, so that we can have soft skills trainers who don't work for me. But when there is a soft skills training need, I can call upon them and they can come and train. But also there are now other many soft skills training groups. So what I'm trying to do is to bring them together, bring us all together, and we form a soft skills development association or an association for soft skills developers, something like that. So that when we form ourselves into this association, what I do well, I do. What you do better than I do, I reach out to you. Then we can apply for work collectively. The quality will be controlled. And then now we can certify. We can give a certificate from the Association of Soft Skills Developers. So of course, once I brought that idea, usually when you bring up the flag bearer, I always, so right now I am the interim president, but just for the period. We haven't yet registered. We are moving to registration very soon. But that's how I see soft skills. I see them as a sector that needs to grow and become really, really solid. Because with hard skills alone, without soft skills, it doesn't work. But of course, soft skills alone by themselves, they also work. So I want things to move forward together. I want universities to integrate this training of these skills into their curriculum. I want people to recognize them as part and parcel of skilling. Because now when you hear there's a skilling place, if you go, you'll find people on sewing machines, or they are learning how to do hair, or they are learning how to make soap. Yes, but at the same time, teach them how to speak properly to clients, how to manage schedules, how to manage their emotions, how to plan so that they can prioritize, how to manage their money.
True.
Yes. Yes. So I want all these things to be integrated. Yeah.
And I'm thinking of, you mentioned you want universities, to integrate these soft skills trainings into universities, the curriculum.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know how possible would this be.
I think it's, to start with,
yes,
it's inevitable. It's going to happen. In other countries, it has already happened. So it's a question of us deciding, do we go into this space quickly now? Or do we wait? And then eventually we will be a continent without soft skills.
Yes.
And then vis-a-vis, because in Europe, US, Canada, the mentality has shifted completely. They start from baby class. Because they realize that without these skills, doesn't matter how solid the other ones are. And now, of course, even at home, we don't have any more of these values and these, So I think it's something that's going to have to happen. It may not be in my generation or your generation, but it's an inevitable occurrence. Yes. And I know that the new curriculum, the new education curriculum, is trying to do that. Is trying to integrate these soft skills into the education system. That needs to happen quickly. But then you have, even if that happened to the best, you have the rest of us from years and years and years who don't have it. So there's going to be people like us, people like my company, people like other people's companies who have to fill that gap, to make sure that everybody is on the same platform. But it's inevitable. There's no way you can avoid to go into soft skills. If you are a business, if you don't arm your staff, your workers with these soft skills, you're losing money. You're losing money daily. Yes. It's one of those, you can accept a certain level, say, this is where we stop, but there is more. Yes. When they learn how to do things better, how to communicate better, when they become a better team, when the leadership is better, when they can negotiate better, when they treat their clients better, inevitably your profitability goes up. So again, this is a reach out for women, your businesses. Don't accept, I call it mediocrity, and people think it's a strong word, but that's what we are accepting. If you can be this high, why are you accepting to be this high? And the gap between this high and this high, most of these will be soft skills. So you can invest a little. It's not an expenditure, it's an investment.
Investment.
Yes, invest a little into your HR. Make sure they learn these skills. You will see a difference. You will see a difference.
Wow.
And now if you read any job description, when they are advertising, have you looked?
Yes.
They say we are looking for somebody with a master's in what? A smoker paragraph like this. Then below here, who is self-motivated?
Communication.
Who has communication? Who can manage
Teamwork.
this?
Yeah, those
Yes.
things, yes.
So employers are looking out for these skills. But I think it's like trying to fish good fish
Well.
in a pond where you didn't put good fish. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is what you're trying to.
That's the
Yes.
gap I'm trying to fill.
Wow.
That's the
Wow.
gap I'm trying
That's
to fill.
a very beautiful venture and investment for everyone. We all need these kind of skills, yes. And doctor, you have been into leadership positions, yes. How have you been able, to do all this kind of work, and what has made you good at what you have done so far?
So, for me, I know how to separate things. I can be a certain way in the office, and I can be a certain way at home.
At home.
Yes. So in the office, I can be, this, manage this. Once I reach home, I can be a mother,
different.
I can be a wife. And I think this is a message for educated girls. Because if you bring that degree and you rub it all over your husband, the husband won't stay. Not even 2 nights. But if you come from your executive CEO position and you reach home and you are a good wife, you don't bring the degrees home. I think for me that's what has saved my neck. I know that in this space, I'm a leader. I'm a boss. In this space, I'm a mzana. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I don't confuse the two. Yeah. I think confusing the two is what is causing modern marriages to be scary. Because people fear these days. People say,
Yeah, because even
Yeah.
with your experience, doctor, 42 years in marriage, and these days a young girl is scared, to just the word marriage. No.
Yes, because they don't understand that it's possible to be a certain way here. How I am at my church is not the same way I am at my home. It's not the same way I am at my business. Once you learn that we are capable of adapting, you can be one way here, another way here, and another way here, and you can be all balanced. You don't fear. Why they are, and then also, even the men, you can be one way, you can be a different way. You don't have to be the same way that your dad or your grandfather was. So if the modern way of living together as a couple needs that you share these things in a different way, we need to be able to adapt. Otherwise, if we keep the same mentality, how my grandmother treated his wife is how I'm going to treat mine, or even how my dad treats my mother, the girl will run. The girl will not have the same patience as your mother has, So if I wish there was a way of people knowing that you can be authentic, but you can be smart enough to know that when I'm at the studio, I'm expected to behave a certain way. But in my church, I behave a certain way. In my family, I behave a certain way. To my in-laws, I behave a certain way. Once you are confident in that, you will go into anything. You will go into anything. So for me, that has been somehow my strength. And if I see that this is not fitting, I cannot shape myself to fit here, the exit. But I believe that I can shape myself to fit somewhere without necessarily compromising my my beliefs, and then people accept you as you are, of course. But you are not going to bring your degree and rub it over all over a man and think the man will stay, the man will go. You know, the man will go. Or just because you have a certain position, you don't care. You know, you leave the kitchen work to the worker. The man will go. You know. So somehow we need to be adaptable, flexibility, modeling yourself to fit the different parts of life that God has given us. We can, as women, we can. Because people ask me, how can you be a wife? How can you be a mother? And then you are also a worker. And then the four are different. You know?
And how are you able to do all these things?
I am a wife. When I am a wife, I am not a worker at that stage.
True.
But people see, you know, you can. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's a mindset thing. If you set your mind to say that, okay, I can take off my shoes, my high-heeled shoes, I can go into the kitchen, and I can put a good meal on the table. Does it remove your degree off your skin? No. Does it make you a less bossy in the office? No. The office doesn't even know whether you're the one who cooks.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
So I think this adaptability in situations is what's making people scared. Is what making people scared. Yeah.
And doctor, when we were beginning, you mentioned you were the only girl. You had to go to a boys' school. But these days we have many girls have come up, and there is a lot of women, young women have come up, taken up leadership positions. But we still have young women suffering in silence, young women who cannot even speak up. Yes. Where is the gap, and what can be done to see that this girl from wherever she is, she's able to stand up strong and take on these leadership positions?
Yeah. I think what scares us is the lack of knowledge and skills. Again, we go back to the type of education system, especially when you are a woman, you need those skills even more. So, for example, self-confidence can be learned. Speaking in public can be learned. Mindset control can be learned. Your self-esteem can improve. How you package and present yourself mentally, physically, morally, spiritually can change. So I think if you feel that way as a woman, reach out. Reach out to other people. And we women, we are not so good at helping each other. When somebody reaches out to you, you say, because they are, I am now above them. They are
competition.
Asking for help is a power. It is not a weakness. Weak people don't ask for help. Strong people ask for help. Because if you not see somebody who is asking for help, cheer them up, because they are showing strength. They are not showing weakness. And then when you help them, don't help them like you are patronizing them, that you are asking for my help, so I am like superior to you. No, you are lifting a sister up. Do you see what I mean? You're putting yourself out there so that you can help another sister up. Somebody must have stuck their neck out for you to go up. So stick out your neck so that somebody else can come up. If we can change the way we help each other, people say women bosses are the worst bosses to fellow women. That is tragic,
Very bad.
And it's true.
Yeah,
unfortunately. So if you are a woman in a position of authority or a decision position, see other women as your sisters. Don't go out of the way to, crush them. If we can change the mentality, how we help each other, how we give each other support, how we look out for each other, how we care for each other, how we become each other's keeper, we women, we can lift ourselves.
Wow.
And if we don't lift ourselves, whom are we expecting to lift
To do
us?
so.
Yes, you know. So I think we need really, in our groups, in our workplaces, wherever you gather as a women, just always end up with that sort of conversation. Let's work together to lift each other up. If another sister is in trouble, let's see how we can fill the gap. Let's see how we can help. When I give you help, I am being a sister. I'm not being like a superpower on top of you. If we change the way we do things, we can build each other.
Wow.
So for the woman you are talking about who is into a leadership position, feeling lonely, feeling scared, that loneliness, they don't have to suffer it alone. Even you can help, she can help, you know, just encouraging them. But on top of that, making sure you have the right skills. That's why for me, everything starts and ends with these soft skills.
Yes.
You know, because if you don't have the skills, you can fake it, but for how long can you fake it? You know. So skill yourself, but at the same time help each other. Look out for each other. Be sisters to each other. Let us just build each other up. And in the new year, this could be one of our resolutions. We can all make a resolution that starting this year, as much as possible, I'm going to help a sister out.
Wow.
I'm going to fill a gap where I see a sister struggling. I am not going to be the one who is bad-mouthing another sister, because you are reducing their credibility, you are reducing their reputation, you know. I'm the one who is going to reach out and give good advice. If we do that, even just for 2025, we could see a big difference.
A lot.
We could see a lot of difference.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm having fun here with Dr. Jane because she's amazing and everything that she speaks is really amazing. I hope you are learning a lot from her experience. And doctor, as we come to the end of the conversation, where do we see Rounding Up Edges International in the near future?
Yes. So for me, what I see many schools reaching out, because even though it looks like an extracurriculum thing, it is like obligatory for them, for the students. So I want school heads, school owners. If you have a child who goes to a certain school, now you have heard about this program, go and be the messengers. Tell the head teacher that, you know, there was this woman on a TV program, which I saw. I think we need to make sure that our children learn, how do you develop good habits? How do you discipline yourself? How can you avoid drugs and all these things? You know, all those answers that you can't provide and the school is not providing. These are the things which are going to form them into the dream you have for them. For those at university, and we have programs in many universities, if you hear there's a program to learn some of these skills, that little money you were going to use to do other things, save it. Because sometimes we charge as little as 10,000 K.
Oh.
And students, you know, sacrifice that Friday night social and come to this training because you need it. That's what's going to make you employable. That's what's going to make you a successful worker. We also teach business skills, how to start small businesses, how to manage them, just to make sure that you can have an all-rounded life. And then business owners, I said it before, don't accept where you are. You can do more. You can do better. You can support your workers. You can have us train them to get better. Some people say, but then you train them and they leave. You do your part.
Yeah.
You train them. If they leave, maybe the person you will replace them with will have been trained by what?
By someone
by
else.
someone else.
True.
It's a big fear.
Yes.
Now I invest in them, I train them. You do your part, train them. And then if we all train, then the pool of people available who have these skills will grow bigger. And of course, if you are an HR in a big bank or something, you know, make sure that you are pulling the whole, because people are really many. Women, we are many. Let's pull each other up, advise each other, help each other. And if you are an independent woman, you are stuck, you can't find a job, you do it. We teach people how to find jobs. We have a high success rate. We teach people how to find job adverts and make sense of them, how to write a compelling CV, how to write a winner cover letter. We give them tactics for succeeding at job interviews. Those 4 skills, almost everyone we've given them has got a job.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes. So come and learn these skills. Don't accept that, oh, no, I can't find a job, so. Come and increase your competitiveness. Once you increase your competitiveness, your chances of getting a job are higher.
Where do we find Rounding Up?
Yes. So at the moment, we are based at S&S Mall on Entebbe Road, near Nkumba University. But we have a training center there, but we train locally or people who can come there. We are mobile. We will find you at your school. We will find you in the university where you are. We can find you. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even organizations, you offer these trainings
to them. We go
the
to
employees.
them. We go to them. Yes, we go to them. Yeah, we are very, very mobile. But the most important thing is we can also train online.
Oh.
You don't need to leave your space here.
Oh.
We can arrange on your phone. I can change your life.
Wow.
Just on your phone. You only have to do what? To put data on it. So we have also those skills for virtual training, and very soon, maybe by end of first quarter of 2025, we are going to have a platform online where you can log in and study slowly by yourself. But also the book is coming up. Buy the book, read, study. So there are many available options. Through which you can get these skills. We give a certificate of participation. We don't sit exams like, say, you have passed, you have failed, you are what. But we know that once you have gone through our hands, you have sufficient skills for you to go and practice and learn more. So we will give you a certificate of participation. Many companies now look for these certificates. If you can show somebody that, you know what, I have this 3 certificate, I've learned time management, I've learned problem solving,
Can you imagine?
I have learned emotional intelligence, I have also learned critical thinking. Give me a reason why anybody wouldn't hire you.
To get the job.
Yes. So we give certificates as well.
Wow. And doctor, as we finalize, the biggest population in Uganda are young people, and I would like you to, award to these young people. How can they find themselves? How do they discover themselves? And yes, in line to not self-discovery. Yes.
I think knowing yourself is absolutely critical. To be able to say, you know what, this is not me. I leave it for others. This type of company I can't keep. It is not my level. And you do what? You walk away. This type of entertainment
is not.
I don't value. I will leave it for others. It's very, very important to know yourself. And it's one of the exercises we do at the beginning to self-discover. But also you yourself, as a young lady, you know yourself. We all know what's right and what's wrong, really, We also know what's good for us and what's not good for us. We know that if I do this, this is the danger. If I say this, these are the consequences. If I don't do this, this is the danger. But normally, much as we know all these things, we always have this tomorrow.
I'll do it tomorrow.
So my big advice would be, that's what we call procrastination.
Yes.
Do not procrastinate. If you think you know yourself, you've discovered that something is not good for you, stop there and then. Don't say, let me do it one more time, and then on the third time, I will stop.
Because you will never stop.
Yes,
Every
because
time
then you will move the third time forward.
Yes.
So for me, once you decide to do something, take
Do it.
action.
Yeah.
Take action, hard as it may be, stick there, but take action. Discovering yourself is one thing, but once you know who you are, what's good for you, what's bad for you, what you should not be doing, take action. But we don't.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in 2025, I think we should all have one big resolution. No procrastinating. If you think something is good for you, take action.
Take action.
If something is bad for you, take action to stop. If something is good for you but it's not enough, take action to increase it. If something is not good for you and it's at a high level, at least reduce score. You know? Procrastination. Tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. I think 2025 is our tomorrow. It's coming in a few days. Let's all have a big resolution about taking action.
Wow.
Taking action. Not tomorrow, not the next day, but that time when you feel that you know yourself and this is good for you, bad for you, not enough, but take action.
What a way to end the year and begin the year 2025. Take action.
Yes.
Because as the year ends, as the year begins, we write down, this is what I want to do this year. This is what I want to do this. But then this is the time for you to get what you wrote down and see, tick. What did you
now all of us are nursing guilt. Oh my God, I wanted to do this year.
But
I didn't do it,
yes.
I wanted to achieve this, I didn't. I wanted to stop this, I didn't. Next year, we take action.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's the biggest challenge.
It is.
Taking action and starting something.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much, Doctor, for coming through.
It's been my pleasure.
I have really learnt a lot, and I hope our viewers have also picked something from this conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
And as of course your last remarks, your New Year message to your people and everyone that is watching.
Yes, so to my people, my team, I love you so much. You're the reason why I get things done. To my networks, my friends, my BNI friends, my church friends, everybody who is in my circle, I love you and I wish you a happy new year. And to all women in Uganda and women in the world, I wish you success, I wish you prosperity, I wish you good health, I wish you love, and I wish you to take action in whatever you decide to do.
Wow.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome, Doctor. We wish you a blessed New Year.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, our viewers, for always tuning in into Civic Space TV Women Rise. I hope the show is really making purpose, The aim is really coming out because from Doctor's story, there is a lot to learn, a lot to pick from as a woman, as a young woman. Yes. Thank you so much to the people behind the cameras. I've been your host, Naiga Madrin. Take Action 2025. Bye.